702.
The Big Interview.
So, which inquiry should KZN Police Commissioner Mkhwanazi prioritize between the Madlanga inquiry and the parliamentary inquiry? Both are investigating allegations made by Mkhwanazi of corruption and infiltration in the criminal justice system. There now seems to be this power struggle over who gets Mkhwanazi on the stand first. He's currently consulting with evidence leaders from the Madlanga Commission ahead of its anticipated start on the 17th of September. He has since told the parliamentary inquiry that the Madlanga Commission has locked him in until the 24th of September, meaning he would only be available to the committee after that date. And this has now led to calls by even EFF President Julius Malema from Mkhwanazi to be summoned to appear before the ad hoc committee should that be necessary.
I just want to make one simple point, if you don't mind.
Welcome, Honorable Malema.
Thank you. I think we must make one point very clear, that we're not going to be told by Mkhwanazi what must happen, what must not happen. If we are looking for him, we have to find him. And if he's not going to make himself available, we're going to have to summon him. He's the one who started this mess, and he's going to have to take responsibility. He's not going to tell us about commission this, commission that, and all of that. We don't know what commission is doing. We're not interfering with the commission, and the commission must never interfere with us. So, Mkhwanazi must be summoned to this committee. This ad hoc committee, it's established because Mkhwanazi took his own time to say the things he said, and he's not going to tell us now that he's not available.
That's what the EFF leader Julius Malema said in Parliament. Let's bring in now ANC Member of Parliament, Soviet Lekganyane, who is in fact the chair of this Parliament's ad hoc committee on corruption in the police service. Mr. Lekganyane, thank you so much for making time. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement and your listeners.
When do you start consultations with General Mkhwanazi? Has he confirmed his availability yet?
No, General Mkhwanazi wrote to us last week to inform us that he's at the Madlanga Commission.
Okay. And what's the next step? Are you considering summoning him to the committee as suggested by Mr. Malema, or is it too early to even consider that?
Yeah, it is too early. Look, the understanding of the committee and the commission is that General Mkhwanazi finds himself in this situation, which is not out of his own making. The letter that he wrote to us is a letter that shows willingness on his part to cooperate with the ad hoc committee. And unfortunately, he finds himself in a situation where he cannot divide himself into two halves. So what you need is leadership on the part of both the ad hoc committee and the commission. And I can tell you, Clement, it's not him alone.
Yeah.
All the witnesses that are going to appear before us, both of us, are likely to find themselves in the same situation. So Parliament decided to appoint an ad hoc committee, and the executive also appointed the commission. So we must not create a situation where South Africans who do not have the power and the authority that we have find themselves in a very, very difficult situation.
Yeah, and as you say, realistically, he has to juggle both these inquiries, him and other witnesses. So I guess it's inevitable that dates may clash, or some of their submissions may, in fact, sometimes be late. Have you engaged, though, with evidence leaders of the Madlanga inquiry? Because the two processes will be running concurrently. This scheduling conflict over consultation is inevitable, and it raises questions over how these witnesses, which are needed in both places across the two provinces, will be managed.
Yeah, that is what we did. I think before the end of this week, we should be able to announce what is the way forward. Of course, ourselves as the ad hoc committee, we also do not want to create an impression to the public and the witnesses that they can decide which time they will make themselves available. This calls for the wisdom of Solomon. We need to get cooperation of the Commission in the same way as they expect us to cooperate with them. And we also need to get the cooperation of all the witnesses. I can say it's a necessary challenge that all of us must find a way to deal with.
Can you still meet the October target, though, to finalize everything, given this context now?
I must say to you, yes, because we, as the committee, we do not have any power to extend the deadlines. We are working towards the 31st of October.
Okay.
And the Speaker of Parliament is the one who can say to us, I can anticipate that you are not going to finish your work. Let me hear if Parliament can grant you an extension. But for now, as the committee, our understanding is that we've been given until 31st October.
Okay. Soviet Lekganyane, thank you so much for making time for us.
702. The Big Interview.
Another story we're looking at is these concerns that have been raised about the recently published draft credit regulations and how the measures risk trapping indebted graduates and even deeper financial distress. The regulations include educational institutions as permissible sources of consumer credit information for credit bureaus. So basically, students who fall behind on fees, who owe these educational institution fees, could face a negative credit record. They may be blacklisted. The Trade and Industry Minister has since released a statement clarifying the regulations and saying they're not intended to prejudice individuals indebted to institutions of higher learning, but they're all about ensuring access to finance. SMMEs. Sihle Lonzi is the EFF Youth Commander and a Member of Parliament joining us on the line. Sihle, thanks for your time. Good morning.
Very good morning to you, Clement, and the listeners at home.
What do you understand about these regulations and how they're going to affect students? Because the department seems to suggest that these are routine administrative adjustments. So there's not really a new addition part of the amendment here being proposed.
I think one of the most important things that we must focus on, because Minister Pakstow really is playing with words, is that institutions, or rather educational institutions, would not have been and still aren't registered credit providers. So in the past, the regulations, there was a very tiny nuance that said they can exist as data providers and may report, to the credit bureaus. So a lot of the institutions didn't do that because there was some ambiguity in the regulations in as far as student debt is concerned. Now, what he's trying to do is crystallizing it. In fact, he's aligning the national credit regulations with the National Credit Act now, which becomes an act of parliament, to say that both data providers and credit providers must. Now he's making it an obligation for educational institutions to report students who owe debt to credit bureaus. And we hold the view that this is the greatest onslaught, on the youth of South Africa, on the unemployed graduates, on the many students who, by the way, are already punished. Because if you owe an institution of higher learning money, they don't give you a certificate, they don't give you a degree, they don't give you a qualification. So already you've punished these young people. They're sitting at home, they can't get jobs. Now, on top of that, you are saying they must not be able to access key essential financing from banks, from financial institutions in the future. They can't buy their first homes. They can't access car financing. You are setting them back 20 years, if not permanently, in a state of poverty and inequality.
How will you be pushing for accountability here, or for some more? Because this clarification from Pakstow is not really a clarification. Do you want him to appear in Parliament? How are you pushing for that as the EFF?
So we have already written to the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Higher Education, because we do hold the belief that since it deals with institutions, there must be that coordination between higher education and trade and industry for a joint sitting where the Minister Pakstow will come and appear, so that we can pose these questions to him, because now he's hiding behind statements. No one is able to scrutinize what he's writing there. And then the ANC just comes out and says, we're welcoming it. but it's totally dishonest. So we're going to hold him accountable in Parliament, but we're also going to be rallying society, students, young people, and even old people, by the way. Yesterday we made the point that this thing of student debt, we must stop treating it as if it's a problem that is just affecting kids in institutions of higher learning. It's the parents that must deal with depressed, young people, children who come back home, they are unemployed, they've got no prospects of success in terms of their economic participation. So we're going to rally all of society, and we don't rule out, going to the streets if parliamentary processes don't pull through.
Sihle Lonzi, EFF Youth Commander and Member of Parliament, thanks for chatting to us.
Current events, developing stories, tough questions, your voice making a difference. This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa.